Let's go back to Sudan now, where a military operation has cleared a protest camp, a central point in the demonstrators' week struggle for a civilian-led administration in the country. We are now joined live by Jason Pantinkin, a journalist who is in Khartoum for us. Jason, what more can you tell us about this raid, this military raid at the protest camp in the city?
It's very hard to get clear details about what's happening now. Foreign journalists have been prevented from even leaving our hotels this morning. I briefly went out to a small balcony at the hotel, and I saw dozens of soldiers wearing uniforms of the Rapid Support Forces, which is a major government militia. And they all started shouting at us on the balcony, and so we quickly went inside. They were all armed. So it's very difficult to know what's happening because press is so restricted here. What we do know is at least 8 protesters have been killed. There are lots of videos circulating from protesters themselves showing soldiers opening fire on them. Showing roadblocks with burning tires, many troops in the streets. So it's a bit unclear exactly what's happening. What is clear is that this crackdown or this attack on the sit-in is unprecedented. We have not seen something of this scale since the sit-in started on April 6th.
So, as you said, the situation has been tense for several weeks now with these protests in Khartoum and other parts of the country, this struggle for a civilian-led administration in Sudan. How symbolic was this camp? People had been gathering, as you said, in front of the defense ministry. Were there many people camping out there, and how important was this site to them?
This was, one journalist described this as the heartbeat of the revolution. This site was crucial. It was the formation of this sit-in where thousands had camped out at night, starting April 6th, is the force behind the removal of the long-standing dictator Omar al-Bashir, who ruled for 30 years. And even after he was deposed on April 11th, the protesters refused to leave, only growing the sit-in even bigger to demand a handover from the military junta to civilian rule. So this was the main way that the protest movement and the pro-democracy movement here in Sudan was putting pressure on the military and on the authorities to accept freedom, democracy, and civilian rule. So without it, if indeed it does not reform, then it will be it's unclear what the protesters will have to do next. But this is a major blow to the protesters if the sit-in is broken up.
Jason, as you said, it's very hard to get information now, very hard to confirm information, but we are getting reports that security forces attempted to enter the Royal Care Hospital where casualties were being treated. So an unprecedented move by Sudan's military camp. As you said, it's unclear at this stage what protesters are going to do. But what does, in your opinion, what does this mean for this movement, for this so-called revolution?
Well, I think the alleged raid on Royal Care Hospital is definitely significant. Royal Care is a private hospital, and they have been providing free medical treatment to protesters who have been wounded previously. So, of course, any hospital is vital, but Royal Care in particular is one that many wounded were taken to. I interviewed someone who was a few weeks ago who had been shot by government forces there. So to breach a hospital, which is a place where people are taken for treatment, is really quite a serious step to take by the government. But in terms of what this means for the protest movement, I mean, it's been over the past few weeks, things have deteriorated in terms of press freedom here, in terms of violence. There have been other much smaller incidents of violence around the sit-in in recent days, but some people were killed in those as well. There have been increasingly bellicose statements by the military council against the sit-in. So many were fearing that an attack like this was coming. And now that it's here, I mean, the first thing is to count the casualties and take care of the casualties, and then after that, it'll be a new challenge for the protesters in this new environment, because this is really a turning point in this revolution.
Jason Pantinkin live for us in Khartoum on what is a developing and very tense situation. Thank you very much, Jason. Stay safe. We will be checking in with you later today.